Just because you start a business doesn't make you an entrepreneur. That's a truth that most people don't want to hear, especially if they're all excited and they just started a new business venture. For many, it's the first time they've ventured into a business. I remember the excitement of that. They've been employees their whole life, and now they have a real business and they call themselves an entrepreneur, right? Wrong. Not so fast. My story goes like this. I remember when I started my business back in 2008. I've been an employee my entire life, 35 years in healthcare. My parents were employees. My brother and sister were employees. Not an entrepreneur in the bunch. But with all that, I went around very proudly saying, I started a business, I'm an entrepreneur. And it turned out it wasn't that easy. The reality is, if you've been an employee your whole life, maybe your family, your spouse are employees, if you're surrounded by that mentality, you may be a business owner, but you're not yet an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur isn't just about having a business. It's a way of thinking, doing, being. And in most ways, it's polar opposite to being an employee. And that's where the struggle comes in. For most, when people are first starting out, they're trying to build their business as an entrepreneur with an employee mindset. For example, how you get paid. Very different between an employee and an entrepreneur. How you react to mistakes. It's huge. How you deal with the reality that you're now the boss. So different between being an employee and an entrepreneur. So let me go a little bit deeper into each because it's crucial. These are the mindsets that gets you stuck. They're the reason that you're struggling in your business. Probably not the strategies. Yeah, you have to learn that stuff. But most of the people I coach who are struggling, it's not because of what they're doing. It's because of what's going on in here, the thought processes. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. How you get paid. You guys know, right? As an employee, you get paid usually for the hours that you work, right? You get paid for your time. As an entrepreneur in a home business, not so much. Not at all, as a matter of fact. You get paid not by your time, but by the value you bring into the marketplace and the results. That's how you get paid. You don't get paid because you put in 30 hours a week and you expect your check on Friday. I remember one guy I coached, he came into a session once and he's like, I put in 2 full weeks of my business and today's Friday and I'm not seeing any money. So what's the deal? And as soon as he said that, I knew exactly what was going on. It was his employee mindset kicking in. Hey, I put the time in, where's my money? It's not that way with entrepreneurship. Many times you have to delay gratification, right? Because the work you do today, the results might show up in a week, 3 weeks, 3 months, or never. And you have to be okay with that. Secondly, how you react to mistakes. In my job, if I made mistakes, bad enough mistakes, I'd get fired, 100%. And for many people, that's true of their jobs. Right? Mistakes are bad. Mistakes are to be avoided at all costs. And there can be some harsh punishments associated with mistakes. And as employees, we bring that in to the business world. Right? We bring that mindset about mistakes into the business world. We got to avoid mistakes. Mistakes equals bad. And the reality is, in a business, while I don't go out and actively try to make mistakes, I know that I'm going to make mistakes in business as I try different things. It's just the whole growth process. So in reality, if I'm not making mistakes, I'm not growing my business. And that's a huge mindset shift that, quite frankly, many home business owners who are employees, they never make that shift. So they're holding back. Right? They don't want to make mistakes, so they hold back. They don't do something. They're cautious. They don't want to take risks. And if you've been building a business as long as I have, entrepreneurship is risky. It's just part of the game. So if you're not making mistakes, you're not growing, if you're not taking risks, your chances of succeeding are way lower than if you pull back and play it safe. Third mindset shift. As an employee, your boss makes all the decisions. When you come to work, when you leave work, what's your goals, what's your milestones you have to hit, what are your deadlines? That's all your boss. As an entrepreneur, That's you now. You're the boss. You tell yourself when to start and stop work. You tell yourself what to do today for your business. Everything is shifted to you now. And for many, they're waiting for someone else to make those decisions for them. And it's not how it works. When I first started my business, the big mantra was fire your boss. And everybody bought into that. It was a great saying, right? Fire your boss. Everybody got all keyed up about it and excited. And the reality is, most people don't know how to be their own boss. And you have to train yourself. And it comes down to discipline, right? It comes down to acknowledging the fact that you are the person making the decisions, and you can't afford to be easy on yourself. Especially if you're building your business part-time, where you're working, you come home and you try to build your business after work hours, right? That's hard. I did that for 10 years before I finally left my healthcare career, which I loved. I did it for 10 years, and I'll tell you what, it's not easy. There are many times where you just want to crash. You don't want to do anything. You just want to veg out in front of the TV after work or go out with your friends or whatever, right? And to have the discipline and the fortitude to sit down and work on your business, because that's the only way you're going to grow it, that's hard. That's hard. It's hard when nobody's watching, right? It's easy if you have people watching you, overseeing you, like your boss. But when you're the boss, it's harder, way harder. So those are just a few of the mindset shifts that you have to make from an employee to becoming a true entrepreneur. And the reality is, the longer you've been an employee, the longer it's going to take you to make this shift, because it's so ingrained in your psyche, right? It's so ingrained in the way you think of things. It's going to be harder for you, but it is possible. So if you're stuck spinning your wheels, working hard on your business, but really getting nowhere, it's probably not your strategy. It's probably your identity. Most people will never get that. You're probably identifying still as an employee, and you've got to make that shift to an entrepreneur. And how do you do that? Slowly, deliberately, and with intention. Okay? This is not a quick fix. It's not something where you can snap your fingers and all of a sudden you're thinking like an entrepreneur. You've got some programming back in your brain, some employee programming that needs to be shifted, and that takes time. So how do you do it? Here's how I did it. I can just tell you how I did it. First, awareness. Awareness is always the precursor to changing. You have to be aware of your old scripts, of your old thoughts coming into play before you can shift them, before you can change them. When you find yourself avoiding mistakes, that can't be automatic. You have to become aware of that and think, oh, I'm doing that. Okay, I'm avoiding mistakes. I see what I'm doing here. If you find yourself delaying when you're going to start working on your business because you're tired, you got to be aware of that. Okay, my boss would not allow that. I cannot allow that. You have to become aware of the old scripts, the old excuses, the old thought processes before you can change them. Second, I adopted the mindset of just for today. Okay, just for today, I'm going to allow myself to make mistakes. I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to do it, and if I make mistakes, so what? Just for today, it's fine. Just for today, I'll be okay with putting off the stress of needing to make money, of wanting to make money. All right? Just for today, I'll allow myself to just put some value out there in the marketplace and see what happens, and not stress over not making any sales. Just for today, I'm going to do that. Just for today, I'm going to be the tough boss, right? I'm going to be the toughest boss I've ever had. I'm going to make myself set hours in my business and keep myself to it. I'm going to set deadlines and all the stuff that goes with being a tough boss. Just for today, I'm going to do that. So just for today, right? Because entrepreneurship is like a muscle. You have to exercise it regularly if you want it to grow and dominate. And if you don't, it'll wither, it'll atrophy. And you'll go right back to your employee mindset. So I'll leave you with this. Don't beat yourself up. Wherever you are in this process, it's okay. It's fine. You're growing, you're transforming, you're shifting your entire identity, maybe even identity you've had almost your entire life. So that takes time, and that takes intention, and it's a gradual process to break free of the shackles of being an employee. So give yourself some grace and improve daily and just watch yourself grow and watch your business grow as you do that. Because here's what happens if you don't. You'll be spinning your wheels because your mindset hasn't caught up to your skill set yet, right? Your results will only go as far as your mindset. And if your mindset is still holding you back, you're going to spin your wheels. And that's why. You'll be frustrated because your expectations are off. They're unrealistic. You're expecting things to happen that can't happen because your mindset hasn't caught up yet. When I first started my business, I couldn't understand how I could be so successful in healthcare, in my career in healthcare, yet so unsuccessful in my own business, right? I wasn't getting results and I couldn't figure out why until one of my coaches finally pointed out a couple things. Number one, it's a different skill set, so you have to learn skills. But more importantly, he pointed out that I was still acting from an employee mindset. And he told me that unless I switched that, I'm never going to go anywhere. And he was really right. And if you don't make this switch, you'll beat yourself up to the point where you'll eventually quit and give up. You're not getting results. You're trying. You're putting in the time. You're putting in the hours. You're putting in the effort. You're not getting results. And that's frustrating, right? And eventually, like any sane human being, you'll stop. We don't want that for you. So that's what's at stake with this identity shift from an employee to an entrepreneur. That's how important this is. Without it, you'll struggle. With it, you'll thrive. And in the end, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. I'm proof of that. It took me 10 years to go from starting my business to leaving my career in healthcare and going full-time in my business. Some of that was by design. Right? I love my job. I love my career. I wanted to build both simultaneously. But also, a lot of it was because I didn't know what I was doing. I was an employee in an entrepreneur world. Maybe some of you guys can relate to that. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of videos on there about building businesses part-time and how to make those really important identity shifts that happen throughout the process of going from part-time in your business to full-time in your business. See you in the next video.